is American Business Systems? I'd like to share that with those of you who've been on here for the first time, because if you're not aware of who we are, you need to know that what we do is we teach people just like yourself from all walks of life, all backgrounds, all educational levels, all backgrounds as far as even business or being in business. If you've never been in business for yourself, it's okay. We teach people how to start their own medical billing business. What does that mean? That means you help doctors file the insurance claims and send out the statements to their patients to get the money that's due to them. It's that simple. And we can teach you to do that no matter what your educational background is. In fact, probably 95% of all the people who come through our live training workshops here in Dallas have no background whatsoever in the medical field. So don't let that worry you. We teach you everything you need to know. We use the latest web-based technology. Everything's in the cloud nowadays. So is medical billing. That is, if you're using leading edge technology like we do. And I'll tell you a little bit more about our system as we go through this. It can be accessed 24/7 from any computer in the world or any other internet connected device, anytime, anywhere. Now, if you'd like to find out more about the opportunity and you haven't been to our website, there it is right there. It's also at the bottom of the screen there, absystems.com. On that first home page, you'll see two orange buttons. If you'd like to know more, be sure and click on one of those buttons and fill out the form that comes up, and we will immediately give you access to what we call our virtual brochure. Here's what that looks like. As you can see, there's sections called Welcome, the opportunity itself, how we help you get clients, training, support, technology, and then the final steps you need to be able to get to our live training workshop down here in Dallas. We do those training workshops on a regular basis, depending on how many people are interested and how many people we can support at any one time. So that's always based on the demand that's out there. If you'd like to check us out now as a company, we know there's a lot of stuff out there on the internet that you need to be leery of. Be sure and check us out with the Fort Worth Better Business Bureau. You'll see that we have an A+ rating. You can't get a better rating than that, and we've had that now for many, many years. We've been in business for 20 years, as you can see from our logo up in the upper left-hand corner there, and we're very proud of that. You can also come and visit us if you want to, right down here in Keller, Texas, a little suburb of Fort Worth. Just fly into the DFW airport. Let us know you're coming, of course, ahead of time, and we'll show you through our suite of offices here, meet with you in a conference room here in our building, and let you get to know all of our staff better, answer all of your questions, and we'll even pick you up at the airport if you need a ride from the airport. So just let us know when you want to come down. Many, many people have done that, and it's a good way to get to know us, see us eyeball to eyeball. Like I mentioned, we do live training workshops here in the Dallas area, and the next live training workshop is coming up a week from this Monday. So all I can tell you, folks, if you wanted to be in this class, you're almost too late. I think there's 3 or 4 seats left. These are very small classes, as you can see from this picture, and we do that on purpose because we want to give you the attention that you need during that week and let you ask all the questions you want from our instructors and from me, of course, during that. I have a very special gift for everybody who's coming to the January training. Licensees at that training will be handed an Apple iPad mini. That's right. We're going to give one to every licensee that attends the January training. Now, we're doing that in celebration of our 20th anniversary. So that's an incentive that we're just offering this one time. We've never done this before to people who come to the training here in January. So again, you have time to get your due diligence done, your funding done, and get to the January training. You'll be able to get one of those. Now, during the webinar today, if you'd like to ask questions, I'm going to be kind of monitoring the little box I have here on my control panel that shows me what you type into the question box. So anybody who wants to type a question is welcome to do that at any time during the webinar, and I'll try to address that if it applies to what we're talking about at the time. If not, I'll kind of go to the end of the webinar and answer some of those questions there. All right, as I'm looking at some of the attendees, by the way, I'm pretty excited to see a few folks on here who actually have done their due diligence, made the decision to join us, and are coming next week. Cotty, for example, I'm talking to you specifically. I met with Cotty. He actually came down and visited with us here in our training hotel that we do training at, last training. And let's see, I'm looking down the list there. I see a few others there. Let's see, Glenn and David, Vienna, Rodney, thank you all for joining us, our family, and coming to the training. I'll see you there in about a week from this Monday. I see your note there, Connie. Thank you. Okay, how to get doctors to outsource their billing to you. Folks, let me be honest with you. The hardest part about this business is what we're talking about here today. It's also the hardest part of every business that's out there, no matter what business you get into. I don't care if it's a Subway sandwich shop. You still have to figure out how to get people to do business with you, how to walk through those doors. In our case, we don't have to wait for people to come to us. We know who the doctors are out there in your communities that need our help. We'll show you how to find those doctors and do the marketing that it takes to get those doctors to pick up the phone, call you up, and say, please come tell me more. And so we're going to teach you a little bit about that today as we go through this webinar. And I'm going to do that by starting here with the very first reason that doctors will want to outsource their billing to you. It's because you will be able to let the doctor focus on his or her core competency. Now, you know what that core competency is, right? It's dealing with all those insurance claims on their desk, right? No, you know that's not it. It's seeing their patients. That's the thing that makes them the happiest. That's why they went to medical school. That's why they spent the time and the money to become a doctor, because they wanted to help other people. Now, true, there are doctors who probably got into the medical field because they'd like to also make some money. Nothing wrong with that, right? Especially if they're helping people get well and stay well. So that's what those doctors really want to do. And that allows you, sitting in your home, working from your home. Most of our licensees still do, even though some of them have opened commercial office space. Most of them just work there at their home, and you are not doing the billing just for that one doctor, but for several doctors probably. Our average licensee probably has under 10 doctors. That's all it takes to make a very nice executive income. So it's very manageable. They don't have to put in the 80 hours a week or 60 hours a week that they would working at a doctor's office or at some other business. This is a very easy to manage business, folks. It does not take that many doctors. Literally a handful of doctors will make you a six-figure income. But if you have better goals than that, believe me, we have many other licensees who are making a whole lot more than $100,000 a year. So let's go to this next slide that's talking about the doctors themselves. Again, folks, the doctors have two different businesses they're running. Think about it. They have, of course, all the stuff that's out there in their office waiting to see them, patients, right? They have the medical, the clinical side of their practice. Then they have the other side of their business, which is, of course, the business side. That is, running the business of getting the money paid, get paid for having seen those patients. That's where you come in. That's where you can specialize and help those doctors. Excuse me, I got a little tickle there. Okay, so what we're going to do is help that doctor focus on what they're good at. So that boils down to reason number two. How do you get doctors to outsource to you? You help the doctors to see more patients. That's right, more patients. And the reason I bring that up is because of this quote here from the Galen Institute. It says the healthcare legislation, that's talking about the new Affordable Care Act, will provide more people with access to care. But the challenge is getting enough primary care doctors to meet that patient demand. It's a huge demand that's out there. And they're going to be seeing a lot more patients. You think your doctor's waiting room is full now. Wait till 30 million uninsured Americans show up in that patient's waiting room. So folks, the doctors have to figure out how to be able to see more patients and stay sane. You're going to be the one that comes in and rescues and helps that doctor focus on the patients and lets his staff retrain, if that's what they need to do, to help the doctor see more patients. Does that make more sense? In other words, the place they make their money is seeing patients, so they want to see more if they'd like to earn more money. And now they're going to be forced to see more patients because of Obamacare. I'm not just making these figures up, folks. The Association of American Medical Colleges says there will be a shortage of 150,000 doctors in the next 15 years. That's a huge shortfall. And there's lots of reasons for that, but the point is that we need to help those doctors who do stay in practice during the coming years to be able to see those patients and help them with their health needs. All right, how do you get doctors to outsource their billing to you? Number 3, you help doctors collect more money faster from the insurance companies and their patients. That's right, collect more money faster. Now, let me just address a few questions that I see coming in right now. Mornay, I hope I'm pronouncing your name correct there, is talking about some of the negative comments that they've seen out on the internet, I guess, uh, about medical billing in general. How do you reassure us that this is real? Well, I hope by watching the rest of this webinar, for example, Mornay, you're able to see that we have many, many licensees that you'll be able to talk to from coast to coast who've been through our training and can tell you that this business is real and share their success with you. That's one way. Don't take my word for it. Take the word of people who've been in your place and have had to do that due diligence that you're doing right now. Uh, there is no pending litigation against American business systems. Remember, we've been in business 20 years. We've never had any type of litigation as a company. Neither have any of our licensees that we're aware of. So that's why we know that if people get involved with our business, they're dealing with a company that will be here to support them for hopefully another 20 years to come. All right, let's talk about helping doctors get money faster. Do you know that more doctors are worried right now about their revenue cycle, their money, than ever before? And that's because of all the different changes that are now happening in the healthcare field. You can reassure those doctors and take that worry off of them by showing them that there is a need for outsourcing their billing, getting that out of their office so they can focus on the things that are important. And that is the revenue generating things like seeing more patients. Now, here's a book you can pick up at any bookstore if you'd like to verify what I'm saying here about this industry. This is a book called Prepare to Be a Millionaire. And it talks about 43 millionaires in 7 different industries that basically tell you how to be a millionaire in the industry of their choice. Here's one from Dan Newman, one of the writers of this book, in one of the chapters. He claims to be a medical reimbursement specialist. Well, that's just a fancy name for a medical biller. So this is what we're teaching people to become, medical reimbursement specialists. And he says, for the next 10 years, the medical industry is going to be the most wide open field. Every doctor, dentist, hospital, and clinic has trouble collecting money from patients and insurance companies. I believe, he says, over the next decade, that so much money will be made in this particular industry that it will blow you away. So again, folks, it's not just Patrick Phillips telling you that or American Business Systems, but you can verify all of this yourself if you do enough research. You can also go to McKinsey.com, you see that on your screen right now, and verify this quote. Physicians typically collect only about 50% of the outstanding patient balances, resulting in almost $60 billion in bad debt annually. Now, folks, that's hard for me to believe as a business person. Ask any business person that you know, would you be happy billing your clients, your customers, and collecting only 50% of that money? None of them would be acceptable to that. And yet doctors let that happen because they do collect most of their money from the insurance companies and from Medicare and Medicaid. Uh, a small portion of it, of course, is billed to the patients. But when I say a small portion, say 20%, that could be $250,000 for a doctor. And if they're only collecting half of that, they're leaving $125,000 on the table. That is, they usually write that off at the end of the year. Well, believe me, they'd rather have that $125,000 in their pocket than as a write-off. As an ABS licensee, you'll be able to solve that with many of our products and services that we offer to you as a licensee to offer to your doctor clients. Now, these are things that are always optional. You don't have to offer them. But imagine this one, Choice Pay. This is a service that if you do a little more study on our website, you'll find that it can reduce the patient bad debt tremendously, helps the doctor get paid faster from those patients, cuts his costs, increases the patient satisfaction, and gives the doctor a patient portal for the patients to pay. And judge how they want to pay out the balance to the doctor. The reason patients don't pay is usually because they just get a statement from the doctor that says you owe, $300, and they don't have $300, so they just kind of put that aside and ignore that bill. So there's one of the services that we offer that you'll be able to offer as an ABS licensee. Look at this quote. Typical medical offices have an average days sales outstanding of 52 days. That means that's how long the money is out there before it comes back into the office. And more than 20% of their AR balance is 120 days out. That's 4 months. So again, in most businesses, folks, that would not be acceptable. 52 days, that's almost 2 months, isn't it? And so what we've got is another service that helps you collect that money, that old bad debt that doctors write off, that I just talked about. There's another service called Quick Collect you'll be able to offer to the doctors that handles all the denied claims, gets the money paid in 7 to 10 days, and lots of good things that this particular service will do for the doctor's office. You need to ask your ABS rep a little bit more about each one of these services. I just don't have time in this 1-hour webinar to go through all of those things with you, but another great service that you can offer. Number 4, you save doctors a lot of money by not doing their own billing. Now, let me prove that to you, because everybody you tell about maybe thinking about getting into this business, they'll say, well, couldn't the doctors do that on their own? Couldn't they do the billing and probably save a lot of money? They wouldn't have to pay you that percentage that you're going to charge them. And yes, it's true that doctors could be doing their own billing, but most of their billing looks kind of like this. That is, it is chaos. This is not a doctor's office, by the way. I just found this on the internet, but I thought it was funny looking. It's really an almost a manual situation in a doctor's office because they don't have the latest technology to do what you can do for them. And here's a quote now. You need to jot this down. The New England Journal of Medicine says market analysts estimate that 24 cents out of every dollar are wasted on administrative and billing expenses. Now let that sink in for a minute. In a doctor's office, 24 cents out of every dollar is wasted doing all of this administrative billing type stuff. That's 24% compared to the percentage that you would be charging the doctor to outsource their billing to you, which would only be usually in the range of around 4 to 8%. That's what we found nationwide that our licensees are getting. Somewhere it usually averages around 6 to 7%, but this is the range that we've seen. And so take that and compare that to the 24% that you just saw. You can see how the doctor's office can save a lot of money. We even have charts like this one that will prove that to you and to the doctor. You'll notice on the left chart there, the left side, the in-house costs that the doctor is paying would include, of course, having some employees working for him, all the different overhead things that you have with employees like payroll taxes, workers' comp insurance, errors and omissions insurance, training costs, and so forth. And you get down to the bottom, it's $65,000 a year that it could cost a doctor with just 1.5 full-time billing employees. On the other hand, for this typical doctor, this size, you would only charge about $28,800. Now, think about that. That's one doctor, and this is only 400 claims a month. That's 100 claims a week. Folks, you can do 100 claims in a day using our system. So it's not putting in a lot of time to make that $28,800, but look at the savings for the doctor. It's a 48% less expensive for that doctor to outsource their billing. You see why I said earlier that all we really have to do is educate the doctor to the point where they understand these things, and it's a no-brainer. That's an annual savings for this doctor of $36,000. Now, believe me, that would get the attention of any business owner. I can save you $36,000, and you'll also collect more money than the doctor is collecting now, as you'll see as we go through the webinar. So it's a win-win, again, for you and the doctor. Look, it costs a doctor, with all the different costs, the hidden costs that are involved in doing the billing, about $57 a claim. Now, folks, think about that. Some doctors don't even make $57 on a visit. $125 visit, for example, they don't even net that after they figure in their costs for paying their in-house people to collect that money. So we definitely can save them money. All right, let's move to, I see some other questions here coming in. I'm just going to stop right here and address some of them. Uh, let's see, Mornay also asked, how do you make money from a licensee after the initial investment? Well, that's a great question. Let me just put it this way. I built the business basically on the model that not only do we make money, of course, on that initial licensing fee, but I wanted to make money on an ongoing basis, just like our licensees do. You want in this business, hopefully, because part of the reason is because it will give you a residual income. Once you set a doctor up, he continues to see patients month after month after month. You're billing, you're making that percentage on the money that's collected for the doctor. And so you have a residual income every month. We wanted that as a company, so we built into all of our services that you'll be offering to the doctors. Every one of them, we make a few pennies on each transaction. We are a transaction based company. So on the back end, you're not paying us anything extra now. All of those transaction fees come from our technology partners. And again, your ABS rep can go into more detail on that. But the point is, we do make money on each one of those services on an ongoing basis. That's the only reason we can offer lifetime support. That's right. We have lifetime support, not for a year, not for 2 years. There's no fees ever for your support. As long as you're processing claims through our system, we're making money. And so we're going to support you as an ABS licensee. Let's see. I got one here from Mark. Don't most doctors have their own billing personnel? Yes, they do, Mark. Well, I shouldn't say that. We're seeing more and more doctors who are realizing that outsourcing is a viable option and can actually save them money. And if they're turning their, let's say, their bookkeeping over to their brother-in-law or trying to do it in-house, they're probably losing money, right? They should turn that over and outsource that to a CPA. If the doctor's trying to handle his own legal stuff, he's probably losing money on that. He should turn that over to a doctor, to an attorney, outsource it, right? If he's trying to do his own transcription inside his office, he's probably losing money because his staff could help him see more patients and thus earn more money. So there's lots of things that a doctor outsources that makes more sense, and billing just happens to be one of those. Let's see, Cotty, you're asking a question there about we're saving him, but what is our real cost? Cotty, since you've actually made the decision to come to our training, you're going to find that out at the training. But let me encourage you to get back with our support department. Now that you are a licensee, you have access directly to our support department, and we'll give you all those details that you need to know about the exact costs on your side as well. Let's see. Mornay, boy, you got a lot of questions today. I appreciate that. What is the retention rate for new licensees and new accounts? Um, Not sure what you specifically mean there. Retention rate, you mean how many licensees become a licensee and stay a licensee? You're a licensee for life. Once you become a licensee of ABS, you never stop, being a licensee of ABS. Now, accounts, of course, are a different thing. Sometimes you'll sign up a doctor and maybe the doctor retires at some point and hasn't made arrangements to pass his practice on to a younger doctor. That might shut the practice down. You would lose the doctor in that case. But I don't know of any licensees who've lost a doctor because of something inept about their servicing the doctor or our system. If that's what you're asking, that just doesn't happen. Okay. Well, Keisha says, what if the doctor already has a billing company? Well, if the doctor has a billing company, I don't suppose he would need you to do his billing. If he has literally an outside billing company, uh, he would be doing probably his own billing as well. So I guess that's what you meant there. Keisha says, how do you get them to switch? I guess she means from doing the billing in-house to switch to you. Well, that's part of what we're going through here is we have ways of teaching that doctor, educating the doctor as to why they should switch to you. And I'll go into some of that here in just a second. David says, how do you safeguard that the doctor does not see cash patients off the books? I'm not sure that doctors, well, maybe there are doctors who do that. I've not heard of that, David, personally, but nothing would keep you from, you wouldn't even know about that probably. So I just don't think that's a big problem. We certainly haven't heard from our licensees about that being a problem. Okay. Well, all right. So I'm just going to continue on here. You help doctors who need to grow their patient base. Now, believe it or not, this is one reason why doctors might outsource to you, because you can open the door with one of our services that helps the doctor realize those doctors who do need to grow their business. And believe me, some new ones, for example, just out of school, need to build their practice base. They build these nice, big, fancy offices, and believe me, folks, if there's not but a couple of people sitting in that waiting room most of the time, that doctor is losing money. So, how do you fill up those patient waiting rooms for doctors who need more patients, at least at this point? Well, we have another service called AutoCard that you can market to the doctor that lets them do that. AutoCard is an online system that actually sends a printed greeting card or postcard in the US mail with a stamp on it directly to the patients. And this is a marvelous system, folks, because we literally have thousands of cards that you can go in and offer to the doctor to send out to his patient base or his prospective patients on a regular basis, and it's completely automated. Now, remember, it's online, so all the cards are customized online, but then when you push a button, they actually go through a process behind the scenes where we mail those cards out for you, for the doctor, directly to the patients. Again, they can be personalized with signatures, any contact information. All of the text and graphics in these cards can be altered by you or the doctor. And we even have campaigns that we, as a company, have already designed for you to market to the doctor and for the doctor to send to their patients. So this is a system that you will use to build your practice and do some automated marketing to doctors, and that the doctors will use to build their practice by reminding patients of appointments and reminding them of yearly checkups and mammograms and that type of thing. And you can, of course, sell this service to the doctor and manage all this for them through this online system. Again, you'll learn more about this when you come to the training, or just ask your ABS rep a little bit more about that, and we'll go into more detail about it. So let's move to number 6. How to get doctors to outsource to you? Well, you can get doctors paid quicker, getting their claims filed in a timely manner. Now, believe it or not, doctors who are filing themselves sometimes have a long time before they see their money. Here's a quote from the American Health Insurance Plans that says 29% of claims were received from the healthcare provider more than 30 days after the service was provided. Another, from the day that the doctor saw the patient till the time that they actually got paid, 29% of the time it was 30 days later. And look at this, 15% of the claims were received from providers more than 60 days after the service was provided. So again, this is called the cost of money. Having money out there in the insurance company's bank account or Medicare's instead of in the doctor's bank account costs the doctor money. And so what you're going to do is actually go in and, using our system, be able to get those claims paid in an average of 14 days. That's right. Because of the leading edge technology that we have, folks, and the fact that we are the clearinghouse, we don't outsource to another entity called a clearinghouse to clear the claims and scrub them and make sure that they're reformatted for each one of the insurers. No, we do all that internally. And because we handle that ourselves, we can get those claims paid in an average of 14 days. We have heard of doctors who we have billed for them on Monday, and the doctor has the money in the bank account by Friday. That's not, the average. The average shows there's about 2 weeks, but that's better than 30 days or 60 days. So this is a tremendous part of our system, folks, that allows you to help the doctor get money. Believe me, the faster turnaround doctors can get for their money, that's better for any business. All right, I'm trying to keep up with the questions here, but it's hard because, boy, you guys have got a lot of them today. Okay, let's see. Let me get back to David. Is the fee or charge based on the billing or the collections? David, that is something some people never think about. You might bill for a doctor this month $100,000, but he may not actually collect but 90,000 of that. That's the percentage that you're going to charge the doctor for your services on the amount collected. So good question. Okay, back to number 7. Then you reduce. Oh, there it is. You reduce the claims rejection rate and thus increase the doctor's revenue. Now watch this carefully. Look at this quote here. First let's talk about rejected claims. Why do claims get rejected? Well, first of all, there's dozens of reasons why the insurance company doesn't want to pay the doctor. And they will look for every single reason they can to reject a claim that's sent to them. Why? In the hopes that that claim never gets reviewed in the doctor's office and resubmitted. And guess what? It doesn't. In many cases, those claims get stuck in a drawer somewhere or are lost in the computer system where they don't have time to go back and find out why was that rejected and what can I do to correct it. You know why? Because they have another 25 or 40 claims today to process. And besides, the pay is the same, right? For the medical biller in the office, they get the same pay whether they get those bills accepted by the insurance company or not. With us, that's different. Now, first, notice this quote here. A single physician practice can expect an average of 69 rejected claims per month. 69 claims. What if each one of those claims is, let's say, an average of $100? Isn't that $6,900? That's a lot of money. Somebody needs to make sure that those get paid, or the bulk of them at least. And look at this quote from the American Academy of Professional Coders. Industry experts have found that the average number of rejected claims for a medical practice averages around 34%. Let me circle that. You should write this down. 34% of all claims sent by doctors' offices to their insurance companies are rejected for, again, a number of reasons. That's the figure. I didn't make it up. Now, imagine what that means to a doctor's revenue. If he's billing $100,000 and 34% of that's rejected, isn't that $34,000 of rejected claims? If somebody doesn't go and resubmit those and figure out what was wrong, the doctor's going to lose that money. In our system, folks, our web-based, cloud-based system called iClaim, we average less than a 2% rejection rate. Now, that's our nationwide average. Some doctors have less and some have more, but let's just take that average. 2% versus 34%. Doesn't that mean more money in the doctor's pocket? That's why it's important, folks, that you realize that it has nothing to do with our smartness on our part. We don't teach our people anything unique about this business other than we give them the right tools to be able to provide the doctor what they need, and that is payment of their claims on a regular basis. Now, here's an actual case study that one of our licensees sent in to us. And as you can see, using their current system, they were actually outsourcing to another billing company. This particular practice was filing 7,200 claims per month at an average of about $125 each. So they were billing about $900,000. And yet look at their rejection rate. It was actually 60%. Now, I said earlier that the average was 34%. But you will be taught to do a practice analysis on a practice, and you'll find many, many of them are more than that 34%. This one was 60, so we took that down to our 2%. And as you can see, that meant for the doctor a 41% increase in revenue, or, yes, over $500,000 a year. Now, folks, do you think that this doctor didn't get real excited about that and share some references with this licensee? Yes, These are the things that cause our licensees to maintain their clients and to get referrals to new clients as well. All right, I'm ignoring questions over here. I see them popping up here, so I'm going to go to a couple of them here. Does a licensee have to belong to HBMA? Mornay, HBMA, as some people don't know, that's the Healthcare Billing and Management Association. Um, it's a great nationwide organization. They have conferences every year in several cities. They have a voice in Washington. Yes, they actually have representatives that are representing the medical billing industry in Washington. And so we, as a company, are members of HBMA. I've had an article published in their last issue of their magazine. So I'm very intimate with some of the people there at HBM, and I can tell you that it's a great organization. I would never discourage anybody from joining it, but that could cost you $500 a year. As a member of American Business Systems, you are privy to all the information that we get from HBMA. We pass along a lot of that information directly to our licensees. Okay, and I think I just deleted a question that I meant to answer there. So somebody, if I don't get to your question here, you might type it back in. Sorry, there's no way to undo that. Okay, sorry, I shouldn't click that little trash can then, should I? Mark, how do you know what amount the doctor collects? Well, inside of our iClaim system, Mark, you'll have all sorts of reports that will show you the exact dollar figure of what's collected, because you're actually managing with the doctor's staff the money that's collected. And that's called posting to our system. You're posting what are called EOBs, explanation of benefits. These are things that come in electronically that go right into our system that posts what was received from the claims that you billed. And so it's all right there in the system. You can see it. You can give a doctor a log into the system where they can see it. It's all very transparent. And so that's all right above. Yep. All right, Geraldine says licensee is paid on the amount collected. However, AB Systems is paid on a claim or transaction basis. Yes, that's right, Geraldine. Let's take an example there. Let's say you're billing for a doctor and the amount collected is $100, just to make the math easier. Let's say you're charging 7%. That means you would get $7 for that claim. As that claim goes through our clearinghouse, we're getting literally pennies for each one of those claims. So yes, it's transaction based, but our technology partners, like the clearinghouse, are giving that rebate directly back to us behind the scenes. This is something I don't even have to tell people, and yet I want to be honest and upfront about the fact that we do make money on those transactions back there. So that's how we get paid. All right, let's see if I can see that question coming back in here that I deleted here. I think this was it. No, that's already no. Sorry, I think I've answered most of those. All right, I'm looking though. Well, here is one of the things that you can do to get the doctors to outsource. You can get the rejected claims resubmitted quickly. Look at this quote. 25 to 40% of the rejected claims are never resubmitted for payment. Now, why is that? Well, folks, it's because most systems, technology billing systems, are not in real time. That's important that you know that ours is. It's a cloud-based system, meaning it's directly over the internet. You go to a browser, you go to the website and log in to our system, and boom, you're using it in real time. That makes a huge difference in resubmitting those claims, because you can literally see why it was rejected. Our system tells you exactly why it was rejected, and you can make that correction and resubmit it instantly, immediately. In a doctor's office, again, some of those claims just stack up. They just do not literally have time to get to those claims and resubmit them. So the doctor ends up looking like this. The guy looks like he's about to pull a wig off or something, doesn't he? But anyway, that's the picture I found on the internet of a frustrated doctor. We solve that frustration, you do, as an ABS licensee, because what you're doing is going in and helping that doctor to get those claims paid. It's all about getting those claims paid and the rejection rate down less than 2%. All right, number 9, the way you get doctors to outsource their billing is you increase the doctor's revenue by making sure he or she is not undercoding. Now, follow me carefully here. We are going to talk about codes just for a moment. So I'm going to show a picture of something I usually show in a lot of different webinars. So you may have seen this. This is a super bill. This is a form that a doctor uses. You've probably seen something similar when you visit your doctor, and I'll zoom in on it there so you can see up close. The codes that a doctor uses on these super bills are already printed. 98% of all the codes he uses in his practice are on this form. And so all they do is just circle some of the codes right there on the form, and they get this to you electronically. Now remember, we're a paperless system. You don't have to deal with any paper whatsoever. And so all of this is sent to you electronically. And when you get this, you're literally looking on the screen just like you are this one, and you go, oh, I see. The doctor had a visit at a 99244. And you're putting that into our system. So they're just like 5-digit numbers. If you look at the bottom here, you'll see some other numbers down here that are called diagnosis codes. So up here, these are the procedure codes, and these are the diagnosis codes. That's it. Now, you don't have to know anything about these codes because they're all in our system. If you typed a code in and it didn't match what the doctor's super bill said, let's say you typed in this code 946.9 and it didn't come up dizziness, that's a standard code. There's a system out there, thousands of these codes. And if it didn't match that exactly, it would show it right there on the screen. That's how we catch a lot of errors and why our rejection rate is as low as it is. But remember, we're talking about increasing it, making sure that they're not undercoding. Now, here's what that means. Look right over here under the procedures. You'll see that this doctor could have billed for this patient visit a level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, that all has to do with what the doctor, the time the doctor spends with the patient and what they do during that time. And so those codes can vary depending on what the doctor circles. Well, if it's a level 1, he's going to get paid less than a level 2. A level 5 is the highest, so he gets paid most on that level. What makes a doctor choose one level or another? Sometimes it's just habit. Sometimes they're afraid to get audited by Medicare, so they will undercode on purpose. And to prove that, look at this quote. The average physician could increase their monthly billing by about 30% if their medical coding was done accurately. That's the key. And that's what we're going to help you do with another service that you can offer to the doctors called CodeWrite. CodeWrite will help you to get the claims paid the way they should be because we have certified professional coders, medical coders on our staff that make sure that these codes in our system are up to date. So you can't submit a code that's wrong. Now, you could still submit an undercode. So what these coders do is review the doctor's coding and make sure that they're coding at the level they should be coding. Does that make sense? That would increase the doctor's income, of course. We provide through that service, you do to the doctor, of course, reports that go into detail as to why the doctor could be earning more. And if he's overcoding, by the way, it will tell him that too, which is important to know because he could get fined by Medicare if he's overcoding. So there's both sides of it there that we take care of. All right, let's see. I'm looking at our questions here. I see a few coming up here, and there's one coming in here. For about 30 seconds. What if the doctor is prepaid? How does the licensee get revenue from this? Okay, so David, I think that was the question that I had that was deleted. As if the doctor is capitated, it's called, or that means prepaid, how does the licensee get revenue from this? Now, that's a little more involved, but let me just say this. There are many, many ways that the doctor can be paid by the insurers and by Medicare. And so we go into detail in that in the training to make sure that the doctor is doing it the correct way. He may not be doing it the right way. But in any case, there are some times when you, as a licensee, can't get paid on certain things. However, if it's set up correctly, and if you do it the way we teach you when you set up the contract with that doctor, you get paid on every penny that comes through that doctor's practice. Because remember, you're not just a medical biller, you are a revenue cycle specialist. You are handling every aspect of the revenue cycle for that doctor. David says, this super bill, the one I was showing, I guess, is not ICD-10 compliant. That's correct, David. I'm sorry. I scanned that in probably 2 or 3 years ago when I first scanned that super bill in. So that is not. That's correct. David is referring to the fact that there are some new codes that are about to come out October 1st of this year. The ICD-10 codes, the ones that are out now are the ICD-9, the diagnosis codes, level 9. That's just the version of the codes. There's a new set coming out in 10 that's coming up here. And yes, all of those are already in our system, David. So you'll be pleased to know that. But thanks for catching that. Okay. Mark says, how can you train individuals in 1 week when most schools require a year or more? I love that question, Mark. Love it because it goes right to the heart of why most of what you see on the internet about medical billing and coding training, I don't know how to put this lightly. It's they're not right. They're not good. They're not being honest and upfront with you. The truth is, Mark, we can't teach you everything you need to know in 1 week. What we know we can do is teach you everything you need to know to get a new billing company started and start doing billing for doctors. Now, is there a whole lot more to learn than what we can teach you in that week? Yes. Where is it? It's on our licensee support site, which is a private website that you'll have access to as a licensee. And on that website, we have probably another, 70, 80 hours of training. So we have much, much more that you can go through on your own. It's self-paced. So, Mark, we cover everything you need to know, and we know that because we have licensees who leave our training on Friday and go out and get clients on the next week. Within the next 30, 60 days, people are getting clients. And we have all sorts of training way beyond what we can train you in that 1 week that you will learn as you need to know those things. It's on an as needed basis. So that's why we have lifetime support for you as a licensee, because you'll need to continue learning. There's licensees who've been with us for 10 years who are still learning. There's new things all the time coming up in this industry, and that's why we've been around for 20 years. We continue to help our people stay up with those things. Oh boy, the questions are coming in now. They must be realizing we're getting close to the end of the webinar. William says, if you hire data entry people to process claims, do they see the claim amount being processed? Yes, they will see the exact amount that claim is being sent in for. That's part of what you might be having them accountable for, is how many of their claims, that particular biller that you've hired, what percentage of their claims are actually getting through on the first submission. Yeah, so you'll know all those figures and have reports galore on that kind of thing, William. Ron says, does the follow-up training cost more money? No, thank you for asking that, Ron. I sometimes make the assumption that people understand when I say that we have lifetime support, that literally means that you will never pay us another dime. No licensee that has ever joined us in 20 years has paid us another dime directly for anything, for support, ongoing training of any kind. We've got another webinar coming up this Friday on the ticking time bomb of the ICD codes, ICD-10 codes. This is by one of our licensees who happens to be a medical doctor, Dr. Sally down in San Antonio. She is a licensee, but she's also a practicing doctor. And she does these webinars for us as a part of she's our senior medical advisor. And so we have that ongoing training constantly. Let's see, for a licensee, can those training videos be downloaded to train as training material for my staff? Yes, William, all of our webinars are just recorded webinars that are video files, basically, that you can download directly to your computer and share those with your own staff. The only restriction there is not utilizing those for selling something similar to what we sell. are utilizing them in some way to build any business other than your own medical billing business. Yeah. Keisha says, I was told you offer a money back guarantee. How long is that for? Well, let's get through the webinar here, Keisha, and you'll see it right here at the very end. Okay, I'm going to talk about that. Number 10, one way to get doctors to outsource to you is to save the doctor thousands of dollars on software updates. Now, here's what I mean by that, folks. Software that comes on a CD or a DVD that's loaded onto your computer, first of all, that's called server-based software, and there's a lot of it out there. You do not want that patient data residing on your computer. You've got all kinds of liabilities and HIPAA rules and regulations that you can break if that doctor's data gets stolen or destroyed. So one of the reasons that we tell people that you can save them thousands of dollars on the software is because once they are working with you using the iClaim system to do their billing, all they're doing is paying you that percentage on an ongoing basis. They don't have to spend all the money that they're now spending to update their software, because every time you log in, or you can give them access to the system, to certain parts of it. If you give them access and they log in, they're always looking at this latest version of the software. If we do an update, it's usually with notice ahead of time that we're going to be shut down, for an hour from 3 a.m. to 4 a.m. on so-and-so morning or whatever. And then that's when the updates are done. So when you log in, you don't have to download anything. You're just using the cloud-based system that's always updated and always the latest version. And since it runs on any device that's connected to the computer, including tablets and iPads, you can run that from anywhere, anytime, even on vacation or on travel. And yes, the doctor can even log in and see their schedule. We have a built-in scheduler right there on their smartphone. Yeah. Okay, number 11, you protect the doctor from being audited and fined thousands of dollars. Now get this. Remember those codes we talked about earlier that are on the super bill? Those codes are always very crucial that the doctor not overcode, right? Picking codes that are higher than what they should be. Medicare has a way of coming in and auditing. We have a service, you have a service that you can offer to the doctors through us called Audit Guard, that again, our certified professional coders are going to go in and audit and make sure that the doctor's coding is what it should be. Again, we provide reports to the doctors telling them exactly where they might be in violation and might be looking at fines of up to $10,000 per infraction. And so you can save the doctor a lot of money in that way. What other companies, listen, this is why doctors will outsource to you. Have you caught on that it's not just medical billing, it's every aspect of their practice that has to do with money that you'll be able to solve and protect them from. Wow, I'm running out of time. Number 12, you help the doctor qualify for thousands of dollars in stimulus money available from the federal government. Now, here's what we mean by that. Doctors can receive up to $24,000 from the government for meaningful use of an electronic medical record system starting in 2014. So we have ways that you can help the doctor, and only 6% of all medical providers are using an EMR that meets all the guidelines for meaningful use. Ours is certified for meaningful use. You've seen that little logo up in the upper right-hand corner of the screen this whole webinar. That's what that's referring to. Very few of the electronic medical record system companies out there, folks, are certified for meaningful use stage 2. And ours is, and that just means you'll be able to save get the doctor that $24,000 for using our system. Number 13, you keep medical practices from drowning in the paperwork. Now, folks, you've seen all those files out there behind the doctor's desk, right? We're going to show you how to get rid of all those files. Yes, we can turn all those files into electronic documents that the doctor can search and pull up from any internet-connected device in the world. So again, this is just a quote talking about the government, is poised to make huge transformation in healthcare and leave the days of illegible notes, misplaced folders, and musty file cabinets behind for good. Yes, we turn everything into an electronic file cabinet, what we call a virtual file cabinet that's out there on the internet. It's called iDocs now. Again, you're not just a medical biller. This is why our licensees are able to sign up doctors, because we're providing them with tools that solve every aspect of the doctor's practice and all the stuff that's involved in that. Now, I'm going to skip ahead here, guys, because we're right at the top of the hour, and I want to make sure I address all the questions. I didn't get to all the reasons that I have here in my slideshow. Man, I was very optimistic about this. But let me just say this: everything that we've told you today, folks, is not just theory. That's important that you know that we have verifiable ways that you can prove that what I've said today is either true or just a bunch of bull. Yeah. You can talk to some of our existing licensees that are out there. And I'm just going to run through a few slides here as I continue to talk to you, that you can get the names and phone numbers of people from coast to coast who've been through our training, who have built their business to very successful levels, that you'll be able to talk to. You just ask us for some names of existing licensees. Now, that's after we've verified that you are serious about wanting to get into this business, that you have done some other due diligence that you need to do, like being on these webinars, for example, and that you will take the time to call those people and ask them all the questions. Remember, I could tell you anything, my staff could tell you anything, doesn't matter what we say. What matters is that if there's real people in their own billing operations that have built those operations from what we trained them to do, most of them without any background whatsoever in the medical field, then you should be able to talk to those people and ask them the questions and let them satisfy whether or not we're for real. Let's see. Okay, so let's quickly go to this. Does this apply to dentists? Mark says. Any type of doctor that's out there, but not the dentist. Mark, dentist is a completely different billing system, a different coding system, very involved. And believe me, the market is about this big, little bitty compared to the medical field. Now, we do have a web-based way that you can do dental billing if you want to go that route. But believe me, once you've contacted and seen all the potential that's out there in the medical field, you'll realize that dental field is not worth going after anyway. Ron says, ACA has HIPAA auditability requirements. Do medical billers need to adhere to the same auditability requirements? Yes. And Ron, we're going to show you how that you can be HIPAA compliant, just like you're going to teach the doctor to be HIPAA compliant as well. Toya, how is the data secured from the doctor to us as opposed to between us and the insurance companies? Well, I just showed you that, by the way. That service that we just showed there towards the last, the iDocs Now, is a system that you'll be able to use, Tanya, to actually get the information from the doctor, paperless. Yeah. So ask your ABS rep a little bit more about how you can do that. William says, I think that the way you handle your licensee fee shows your commitment to the success, to your licensee's success. Thank you, William. That's exactly why I had hoped that I had modeled the company to do that. So we'd be around for 20 years and hopefully another 20. Henry says, who is liable for the cloud-based system security and possible loss of data? Does that need to be covered by my EO insurance? He's talking about errors and omissions insurance. No, Henry, that is all our responsibility. Our technology partners back that data up off-site in a HIPAA-compliant storage every day. It's also on multiple servers in different parts of the country in different electrical grids. We've never had a downtime at all with our system because of that. And so there's no liability there whatsoever for you. And let's see. Ooh, here's what about hospitals? Jelani says hospitals. That's another type of billing, Jelani, that is not something we recommend that our licensees get involved in, although some have, because there are ways of doing that. But that's another type of billing form that's used outside. So besides hospitals and dentists, think of every other specialty that's out there practically in the medical field. Go to the Google and type in medical specialties, or go to Wikipedia, and you'll see all these different specialties. You can do the billing for every one of those. All right, I'm going to skip through more of these slides that I've got on the screen here because I want to end this up pretty close to the hour here. And so let's see. Let me pause it right there and get to this slide that tells you one more thing. That is, our training is coming up. If you want to come to this January training, a week from this Monday, you can do that. There's still time. There's ways to get to your bank, wire the money to us. Bring a cashier's check. There's lots of ways that you can get involved with us, or put it on a credit card or several credit cards if you need to pay your license fee, and just get the paperwork to us so we can reserve your seat. That's the important thing. We must get that seat reserved because when the class is full, it's full. And don't forget that at January incentive, everybody in training is going to get the iPad mini that I mentioned earlier. And here's the money back guarantee that somebody asked about earlier. And folks, this is exactly how it's worded in our agreement with you. If at the end of the training workshop for any reason, oh, I did not mean to get out of that. Let's see. How do I, where do I, what do I do here? Okay, so let's get that back on the screen. I pushed a button I shouldn't push. Here we go. If at the end of the training workshop, for any reason, you do not think this is right for you, simply tell any of my staff members and they'll arrange for you to receive a full refund of your license fee. Now, folks, I don't know how to be any more fair than that. I don't know of any other company that would let you come to their training, sit through not just the first day or the second day, but the whole week. And at any time during that time, you want to ask for your money back, you're certainly welcome to.